wait a minute.
See, that's a red flag.
There we go. Live and in full effect.
Man,
Oh, we got dildo sponsors too now, low key. So we moving up in the world. You actually low key right. It does. You know what? I really needed you to speak that into me because it hasn't been feeling like growth recently. So that's good. That's a little bit of energy in the tank.
Hey man, like for real, man, you got to give yourself credit because a lot of platforms don't even make it this far. Like,
true.
This is an exceptional platform. Like, you know how many podcasts there are, and how many of them don't go past like the first year.
Yeah,
true.
Then they keep popping up every day.
Yeah,
yeah.
And the life cycle of the podcast industry is still in its like adolescence.
It's a new format, low key.
Yeah. Y'all doing something significant, yo.
I would love to do like a journalistic shit at some point. Like, cause this is, this format is kind of like talking head conversational. It's like improvisational to some extent,
Yeah.
And I've listened to some podcasts like wrongful conviction kind of stuff, where it's like they're going out to like a small rural town in Mississippi to uncover a wrongful conviction from like 20 years ago shit. And they out here like interviewing people in the streets, like getting death threats. And I'm like, maybe not that, but I'm like, wow, there's a lot that you could do with that. Like S-Town Serial, all those kinds of things as well.
So what would your version of that look like? Because you just said something that was like vastly different from it's like if you were like, hey man, you know how LeBron goes out on the court and he be dunking and shit? We could do something like that, but nothing like that.
Wait, so which part sounded like nothing like that?
The whole thing you said sounded.
What you mean?
Okay,
like I described a particular podcast. Yeah,
let's take that out of it because I feel like we'll have a semantic argument. My
question
is, what does your version of that look like that's applicable to the brand that you've cultivated as creative director?
Okay. Yeah, that question makes more sense to me. Like it would depend because maybe it wouldn't fall necessarily under, waving the red flag or this particular brand, but maybe it would. And like it could be anything like we want to interview scamming ass niggas. Like let's like create a little documentary podcast series where we go out and meet these folks. You know what I mean? You add voice filters for people who do want to talk, who don't want to, be known, ones who do, and go out and interview in person, turn it into a structured mini series, like 12 episode podcast. Follow maybe one particular guy. How did you get into it? What is this? Let's interview a professor who talks about why this matters, lawyers who were attached to it, all that kind of stuff. So that's basically the format. Like, and for context, I'm assuming you already know about this type of podcast, but it's just, investigative gonzo journalism style structured podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
But that feels a little bit less dangerous than the like, because the Mississippi shit, like, for which one what was this one? In the Dark. I was like, y'all ladies are about to get killed. Like y'all are in Winona, Mississippi, trying to uncover the district attorney, like doing corrupt prosecutions in a racist town where people want to fucking kill y'all for trying to overturn this conviction. Like, and y'all are getting in people's faces. Like, so that's the part that I'm scared of.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I've considered
they doing real good work because they got that man out of jail. But I'm like, fuck, that's terrifying. Like, what they did should be done. Like, I admire them for their conviction.
Mm-hmm.
It's determined.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. That's my fault.
I want to do video essays.
You would be great for that. Yeah,
I appreciate it. I just gotta, create the room in my schedule. I gotta like free up some space so I have the capacity to do it.
Yeah, because I've been trying to work on like doing some of that, and I'm a medium to like decent editor, but I'm like, this shit kind of tedious. So I'm like, damn, you really got to sit there and do a lot to turn just talking into cool, adding clips from this thing and a chart from this shit, into something that is visually more than just hello everyone, this is my point,
Yeah, absolutely.
What would you talk about?
So like one idea I had was to break down the connection between the pimping game and prosperity preaching.
Amazing.
Ooh, shit.
And I was gonna
Okay.
use the song that Jill Scott and Too Short did on her latest album. So just breaking down like stuff like that. It would be in the realm of theology, Black culture, Black church history, popular culture, like how all of those things are connected. I'm a nerdy church kid with a
That'd go
seminary
hard
degree.
as fuck,
So
like just as a set of things, because I'm just thinking, I don't even know if anybody is even really doing that. There's like a lot of academics, there's a lot of like scientists, there's a lot of sociologists, psychologists, like FD and Lil Bill and Johnny Harris, journalists and stuff like that. But I don't know if there's someone who's like, I am an expert in the field of theology and religion, and I'm doing video essays from like a more progressive, critical stance. But like I'm also like I'm not outside of it, because people talk about church, but they're not in it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I don't think nobody's doing that. Niggas ain't doing that, bro. Yeah,
it will be cool. It will be cool. I just gotta, I gotta free up some space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, interview me. Like I want to be in one of these video essays.
Dope. We're gonna make it happen.
The resident atheist. Yeah, I'll be like, hey, this is what I think. And you gotta bleep out parts of what I say.
Yeah. We'll make it happen. Definitely.
Okay,
Oh my gosh. But yeah, man, it's crazy because Kristian, I'll be seeing you all over Instagram as well. So just to give you your flowers, you've definitely been growing. I've been seeing you with a lot of different content creators. And I swear, like, I don't know if our algorithms is like very similar, but every other video I see, either you like got a heart over it, or like either you like, what do you call it? When you
retweeted it or
repost.
It.
Yeah, like, so I appreciate that. First of all, been putting in a lot of work. Like over the past year, we've like doubled our output as far as short form content. So that has really helped to expand the reach. And before I got into the digital world and I was an entrepreneur in the physical world, like I do a lot of networking. So I go to networking events. I was a part of like business clubs. That's kind of how I grew my clientele and my clothing business and just grew my network. In the digital space, I just try to like transfer some of those skills into the digital space. So being in people's comments, resharing their stuff, to me, that's digital networking. It's like, hey, I see this, I'm co-signing it.
Yeah.
It creates connectivity in the digital space with people. So if there's an opportunity down the line to connect or maybe collaborate, I'm not coming in cold because we've had interaction already.
They've seen you share them. Yeah. That's what that repost button is for, low key, of like, because sometimes you're seeing stuff because it's like, oh, Kristian saw this and he thinks it's worth sharing. And so I've found out about it from your feed, essentially.
Exactly.
And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Now I'm connected to that through you. And then I go, oh, maybe we should work together. I should do something. Yeah.
That's absolutely good. The collaborations are really good on Instagram too.
Oh yeah, no, I'd be inviting. It's just 17 different people into this shit. Yeah.
The collaborations are great.
Shoot, I find like, I don't know, Eddie probably have like a different take on this, but it feels like with us, like our reach on Instagram feels like a bit more tougher to get, like versus like a TikTok.
It's like low key both are like, I don't know, like our TikTok reach ain't crazy, like, because TikTok isn't like it's not a newsletter, you know what I mean? So it's like you could have 500,000 subscribers, but you're still, them followers are not followers. Those are just people who press the follow button.
Seriously.
Which don't really mean anything about whether or not your content reaches them. So like we up at 100K on some of the channels that we have like associated with me or the pod, and it's like, cool, you share something, 100 views. You know what I mean? So it's not. So I would say not much difference.
Yeah,
TikTok is a wasteland for me.
Yeah, wasteland is maybe what it feels like.
Yeah, like it's like Book of Eli, because. And I mean, I came up on TikTok. Like that's how I built a a name for myself in the internet streets, and then it went through all of these different changes, and now I just be posting over there and just like maybe like once every maybe like 3 weeks I'll have something that'll do more than 20,000
Numbers.
views, but
Mm.
nothing like it used to be. I used to go viral weekly on TikTok. Weekly.
I've heard the
That's
exec say to Matt Rife one time, it was like, "Oh yeah, we like changed the algorithm to like we're not focusing on comedy no more. Like we're focusing the algorithm to like this other thing."
Yeah,
So like they definitely have their hand on the button. But
absolutely.
I had a question.
They just steer the ship somewhere else.
Yeah, I had a question though. Would y'all is there any correlation to the dope game in content creation?
Probably.
Yeah,
Like everything is the dope game and or pimping in some way.
yeah.
You gotta push that product, find where your corner at, find where your people at.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like that hot product in these internet streets.
I also liken it to like digital content, at least the way that I do it, to the mall food court. So you know how every mall food court got that Chinese food spot where they got somebody out front with the chicken on the toothpick.
Yeah, that mango chicken.
Yeah. Little sauce, yeah.
And then people walk by and they taste it and see if they like it. And most people just like grab the sample and keep going. But a few people are gonna grab that sample and say, you know what? Let me get in line and buy me a plate.
Yeah. And you circle back around. You like you have that, and then there's that MSG gets in your brain, and you've shopped, you bought some shoes, you come back around and you're like, I have a hankering for something from the East. And then you come back around and you're like, there she is. Thank you.
I bet y'all ain't never double back though.
That's what the content game is, right? Like all of the free content we put out is like it's a sample. There's always something more beyond what you get on the initial platform. So if you want more, then hey, come over here and support and get the full meal. Because right now you just like going by and getting samples every day. My short videos are samples. And then when you come into Patreon, that's the full meal.
And you gotta chef up more dope.
Yeah, so like for us, just so everybody is on there, if you want those full meals, make sure that you join the Patreon or become members via YouTube so that you can get those full, non-chopped up meal experiences. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
You want to get it pure? Patreon.
Yeah.
First 20 minutes is free. You want the rest? Come around the corner.
That actually might not be true. So I'm just saying, I want to validate that before you just put that out in the world.
First approximate 20 minutes is free.
Well,
asterisk footnote.
With that being said, welcome everybody to Waving the Red Flag, the universe's favorite and number one big up your brother and prosperity preaching podcast in the entire universe, and also the Eastern Hemisphere of the globe. It's your boy Josh, it's your boy Eddie, and of course it's the magnanimous Alvin, and it's Waving the Red Flag. But of course tonight, my brothers and sisters and they, thems, and all of us in the chat, we got the illustrious, none other than Kristian A. Smith. You've seen him on your internets. You've seen him around the way. You've seen him in the pulpit. You have seen him shutting down folks on the internet, giving them the true lessons on the Bible and Christ. Kristian A. Smith, back for the fourth time again. Let's go.
Let's go.
The illustrious. I love that word. I don't think anybody's ever said that about me.
Hey,
I can't even imagine that. You're very illustrious.
Get used to it.
That's crazy. I'm glad to be here.
Illustrious.
It's been a while. I'm glad to see. I went to the YouTube channel and saw the description. It said elevated barbershop talk, and I remember when we had that conversation.
You did.
That's all you. That's all you. That's all you.
That.
It's very because nobody because we were trying to figure out what the brand is, and it's like it's kind of it's an offshoot of what Brilliant Idiots was doing before, which is like cool, but they're like stupid but kind of smart. But we're like, all right, we got real academics on the podcast. You know what I mean? So what is this?
Yeah, y'all smart.
There you go.
Yeah. Y'all smart for real.
We go. Just a little bit stupid. We fake stupid, yeah.
All right, gentlemen. What are we talking about tonight? We got a couple. We got a couple good ones.
Yeah. You know what? I think I find this like sexless marriage thing real interesting because it feels like it, or like the contract of marriage, or just that idea of it. Like it feels like it's hitting something big in the ether. Like women are checking out of marriage, men are checking out of marriage. People are having a crisis about what does that mean, and everybody's lonely, and nobody's getting dick, and nobody's getting pussy, and some people are like, yeah, I'm fine with that. Yeah, it feels like there's some big renegotiation of marriage.
Absolutely. I think there needs to be like a re-examining of marriage for sure. And
yeah, culture is changing.
Yeah.
Yeah, culture. Sorry. Go ahead, Josh.
No. Please, you.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying this for a while. Like, there are too many people in the 21st century who are treating marriage like it hasn't changed since the mid 20th century. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then also, I mean, if you go back, even the misdirection with making people think that they're in biblical marriages. Like what? Like women were property in that culture. Marriages were arranged. They were polygamist. You could have as many wives as you could afford.
Yeah.
As you can afford is a crazy way to think about forming what we now consider to be romantic bonds. Hey, shit, as many as you can buy, that's how many you can get.
They still have that mindset to this day. Like in certain polygamous situations, it's like if you can afford multiple wives, go for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, hey, if that worked for you, I mean, I'm not judging. But
you get a scoop like at Whole Foods. Cool. All right.
That's why like the monarchs and the kings all had multiple wives and concubines because they could afford them. They were the monarch.
And money was tended to be towards men, so it wasn't the other way around.
Yeah, because women were like literally property in the biblical context, right? So that type of thinking carried over into all the way into the 20th century, like with the whole concept of the concept of who gives this woman away. And in our marriages, in the modern context, that whole part of the ceremony, it goes back to an era where women were property and they had to be given away. It was a transfer of property. So that's why we have situations where the father of the bride has to give her away to the groom because it's a transfer of property.
Yeah.
Now in the 21st century, women got upward mobility. They making more money than men a whole lot of times. Who giving who away? They doing their thing.
I want to be given away. That's crazy. Yeah. My mom got to give me away too.
You know what I'm saying? So trying to approach romantic committed relationships with the same mindset as our parents and our grandparents is just wildly out of touch.
Can you speak to how the ways that you think that model expresses itself in modern dating conversations that's fucked up? Like, cool, women were property. That's the way that they were thought of. And the way that gets expressed is a man or a woman says this thing. And it's like, you only think that because of the way that this institution was built.
Yeah, like I talk to people frequently where it's like a man and a woman in a committed relationship, whether they married or not. Let's just say they're living together and they both work. Maybe they make the same, maybe the woman makes more or less, but they both have full-time jobs. And the man still expects the woman to come home and cook every day.
And he's doing none of that.
Yeah, like he want her to work and cook and clean because that's a woman's role. But that made sense when the woman was at home all day and you could provide for a family of 6 on one salary, right?
Right.
Like which is what
she paying half more or more of the bills.
Yes. And then,
I gotta sweep too.
On the flip side of that, you'll have women who expect every man that approaches them to be able to pay their bills. Like, have you seen the data? Like, niggas ain't out here making that kind of money like that. Like, there's a very, very small percentage of men who can pay your bills. That's a very small percentage of men. But the expectation that, you know, a man is supposed to be able to provide financially, particularly in this economy, is just completely out of touch. So like, that's why the conversations now, I think, would be better fit if they revolved around partnership.
Yeah. And I will say that, so I agree with everything that was said. I think the data also suggests that is the course correction that we're in, right? So marriage rates of adults have decreased since the 80s. And I use the 80s as a very specific benchmark, right? Because to Kristian's point, adult women couldn't be full participants in society outside of marriage in the United States until the late 70s. I think people don't realize exactly how recent that is, right? You couldn't purchase a home. You couldn't open a bank account. This was like 74, 76, depending on where you look at a lot of stuff. So going from the 80s, you have a decrease. Like a slight majority still get married as a point of their adulthood, even though it's happening a lot later in life for a lot of women. But what you see is a pretty drastic decrease in divorce rates since the 80s as well. So the marriages that are happening are more solid. They're also concentrated a bit more in people with higher education and higher income. So these are people that are actively making the choice to do it. Whereas in the past, it was very high because people had to do it for resource pool and management of that perspective. And again, it's a boost for men from an economic perspective. And at that point, again, for women, it was like, this is the only way I can be a full participant in society in some facet, even though, again, to Kristian's point, they were still largely at the outset of that at the whims of their husband. So I do think that we've seen a course correction towards these marriages that are happening, that are more successful, being something that is more akin to a partnership based on the data to support that. And I would also say that what strikes me when I have conversations with marriage, because, you know, like that's where a lot of my friend group is, especially the Black ones. Like they're at the point where like, this is the point where they're marrying. Like that's like, I've had, you know, I went to like, I don't know, Eddie Josh, probably 6 weddings or some shit over like the past year and a half or something. Because
that's mostly what you do when you're not on the podcast. Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's what's happening now. And the amount of, even amongst my friend group, which trends more educated, which trends more, I'd say middle to upper middle class, the conversations that they have around marriage is crazy because I'm friends with both the men and the women. So like the women will say stuff like, I was apprehensive about getting married because I didn't want to be in a situation where I had to do my high powered job and then come home and cook and clean. And I was like, when did you ever think so-and-so expected you to do that? Did you think so-and-so was going to become a whole different like man?
People do though.
They do.
And I think we can dig into that too. And then on the reverse side, it's like the men would all be saying like, man, you know, I know she's a doctor, but we gonna get married and she's gonna be expecting me to pay out the bills. And I'm like,
and that happens. So it's like, and yeah, that's it. Does it feel like they're like when you're having those conversations, does it feel like post-marriage, like, oh, why did y'all think that was gonna happen? Or does it feel like they were correct to be worried about those things?
If it feels in those, and I don't have data on this. Again, this is now me shifting from data-driven conversation to anecdotal conversation. Just want to make that
with your homies and homegirls,
it very much seemed like delusion in their context.
Okay. Yeah,
like you've been with this person for 10 years because again, these are you know,
true. They've been living together. Yeah,
they've been living together. Y'all don't went to college together. Y'all don't went to grad school together. Y'all don't went to med school or law school together or some shit. And then now
you give you a ring, take your shoes off, get in the kitchen. It was like, where are you thinking that's coming from?
I guess like, but I think that fear comes from like the expectations might change when you get a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of people have that subconscious like train of thought with like marriage.
Well, what Born the Raven said, it sounds like poor communication. These are conversations that people can have. It's not like this stuff can't be known. Like
you can talk.
We can have a conversation about, hey,
Mhm.
what does it look like for us to do life together? Like, let's talk about what has to happen in order for the house to, function smoothly. Somebody has to pay the bills, somebody has to wash clothes, somebody has to do maintenance, or at least make sure maintenance gets done. Like, these are conversations that people should be having. But so frequently we're socialized and programmed to just go into basic assumptions that we think the other person has too, when we could just talk about it. And also, just one thing to Alvin's point, what using the 80s as a starting point for this shift. You know how we talk about in the culture how like there's so many women-owned businesses, like women are like the fastest growing sector of entrepreneurs. Well, I was born in 84. And when I was born in 84, a woman could not get a business loan unless a man co-signed.
Yeah.
Like, that's how recent this stuff is. A woman could not get a business loan without a male co-signer until 1988.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Like the culture has changed drastically, and we're still bringing 1960s marital expectations into 21st century dating situations. It's wild.
It does a little bit feel like, yes, individuals can have conversations, and that's good, and they should. And our platform is one where we encourage people to do that. But people have limited bandwidth in their mind. You know what I mean? You're tired, you're exhausted, you're going to a job, and so we use like culture as a shorthand. Like when I say a word, you know what that word means. We don't have to have a whole long discussion about what the word means. We come from a shared socialization, and so marriage feels like one of those. Like when I say I'd like you to be my wife, we don't have a 3-day long discourse about what that means. We should, though. I agree.
Yeah,
but the process, no, but that, I don't mean that to undercut my point. My point is like what we're saying when we do any kind of proposal is going, I would like to present this idea to you and all the things that it implies.
Right.
And one of the problems is all the things that it implies are in the process of being renegotiated at the social level. So I guess I'm just kind of giving people a little bit of grace about like, yeah, wife means a word, husband means a word, and we're in the process of redefining it. I can't fault people for using the definition that they've been socialized into. Like the women that are asking those questions, Alvin, the men who are asking those questions, is like, that didn't come out of nowhere. That's decades and decades of, and it was centuries low key of, this is what this institution means. And so they're not going to remake up a new definition out of nowhere,
I think the thing that I find really weird in those conversations, particularly in the context of my circle, is that these people have broke down so much societal barrier in every aspect, but you hang on to marriage as your vestige of tradition, right? So, for example, again, I'm having these conversations with women that are doctors, lawyers, business women, like almost entirely women of color, almost entirely Black women. And like you've broken down all these barriers, and like you're doing things that are clearly flying in the face of all the things that you've been socialized to do, not only as a woman, but a Black woman in particular. And then Black men from that perspective, again, same thing, like the numbers in terms of Black people in these spaces is paltry for very structural reasons, and you've broken down all these structural barriers from that perspective. But this is where you draw the line. You were like, nah, like the whole world was against me to be a doctor, and I broke down this barrier based on where I came from, based on the structural oppression from an academic perspective, based on all of the shit against lower income people trying to be a doctor of any race, but particularly important in terms of low income, underrepresented minorities. But marriage is where we got to be traditional and got to do that. Seems odd to me. It seems incongruous to how they do everything else in their life.
I'm sure there's an answer, and I don't know. You might, and Kristian, you might also have some thoughts here. To me, when I see like millions of people do a thing, I never attribute it to a million people simultaneously decided to have critical thought. I'm like, there was a law that was changed somewhere. There was a movement that happened somewhere. There was government funding that wanted to get, half, reintroduce half of the workforce so that we could have, both parents work, things like that, like big things that moved. And so I'm wondering if it's not so much that a bunch of individual people decided to break down shit in their life. It's like there has been a top-down incentive for women to work and to be able to kind of have those conversations, but that same thing hasn't happened for breaking down marriage and the gender shit associated with it. And it's still like, no, I'm just a girl. Like, yes, I'm high-powered. I want to be independent. I want to have X, Y, and Z, but I'm still just a girl. I want the white dress. I want the ring. That is bigger than the individual. Question mark, if that makes sense.
Yeah, this is like the cost of freedom. Freedom is expensive, right? What the whole like feminist women's rights movements are about women having the option to live their life in whatever way is meaningful to them. So it doesn't necessarily mean that all women want to go out and work, but women just want to have the agency to choose what they want to be. So
That's
now,
right, yeah.
you know, there are some women who they want to be a mom. They want to take care of their family. They're not trying to go out and be in the corporate world and do all of that. And that's their choice. And then there's some women who want to go and pursue their career. And some women want to, you know, find a balance. But that level of freedom, all of these options that now exist require greater responsibility. Because before, when everything was just in a real strict binary of gender roles, you didn't have to think that much. It's just, we get married, you know the deal. We don't know the deal anymore.
You know what it means, yeah.
Yeah, we
the rules. Yeah.
yeah, we've broken all of those rules. So now we got to start having some real adult conversations about what it looks like to be in relationship with each other, because everybody don't have the same expectations. And to the extent that some people think the way that we are socialized is just the natural order. That's
Right.
how
Right.
deeply ingrained it is. There's not even any thought to question it. Like, some of us are so thoroughly socialized that we believe, yeah, everybody is supposed to want to grow up and get married and have a big wedding and do the whole shebang. Not really.
No, you can if you want, maybe, you know,
Yeah.
but even with the choice stuff, is like a lot of these things that you're like, choose, like there are wrong choices or choices that are in the direction of a particular choices don't come out of nowhere. Preferences don't come out of nowhere. You know, a lot of them are socialized, and there are choices that aren't particularly liberating. You might have the choice to do them, but there are choices that aren't particularly liberating.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time. Like, people say, "Oh, that's just what you do,"
and it's not. It's what you do because we've been socialized like that. It's a part of the culture. But but if you go into different cultures, they have a different idea of what you just do.
Yeah.
So every culture
place to
has its
place,
own
yeah.
idea of what you just do. And we're in this like really like pluralistic society where everybody's deciding what they want to do. And so it's not gonna be like this clean cookie cutter thing where now, like in our grandparents' generation, men were expected to be financial providers. And now you have a lot of women who don't necessarily need a financial provider. They need somebody that they can connect with emotionally to provide them emotional support. They need an emotionally intelligent partner, which is why men got to catch up and get in touch with our emotions. Because a lot of us are not equipped to be an emotional companion for a woman because we were socialized to think we're just supposed to be financial providers. So I don't need to do all that emotional stuff. I'm going to work like I'm supposed to. Like, nah. Like, now you got to show up emotionally in ways that our grandparents didn't have to show up.
So is one of your big ideas on marriage that one of the things that needs to be renegotiated is what it means to be a husband, and to be a husband is to be an emotional provider to your partner in a way that we haven't been socialized to do.
Absolutely. And I think about it in terms of just being a spouse, right? Because like in my ministry, we're all across the spectrum of sexuality. And in working with people, what I found is a lot of these interpersonal issues that people have in romantic relationships are not really gender specific. Like the gender roles of society get imposed upon these different relationships, but like for instance, in the lesbian community, there's still an expectation that a stud does guy things.
Oh yeah. Yeah. We've had those conversations.
And some studs internalize
you the boy one.
that.
You supposed to pay.
Yeah, like and some of them internalize that, like, yeah, like I'm the man. And then you got some studs that's like, nah, I'm still a woman. Right. So these are conversations that people are gonna just have to have. And it's not so much about the gender part of it, it's about the human part of it, just the human connection. So all of us need to show up emotionally.
Yeah.
All of us need to contribute something meaningful to this. And it may be that, you know, one partner is the breadwinner and another partner does more domestically. And the gender of those two can be different from relationship to relationship. And in a relationship, it can change over the years. So in one part of the relationship, you know, one partner is making more money, the other partner is doing more at the house. And then that can shift over time and they switch roles. So you got to be negotiating even as you go. It's not fixed like we used to think it was.
What do you think those convos look like? Because sometimes people are quite, if I open up the floodgates, and I feel like I've heard this specific kind of thing from women, after digging a little bit, that it's like, if I open up the conversation to certain kinds of things, that's kind of me giving up my femininity almost in certain spaces, or it's just taking a lead in a way that's feels out of sync with me, to where they're like, cool, if I have to have a conversation about, well, what does the next step in our life look like? And it requires my husband to quit his job so that he can take care of the kids or do something in the home while I become the primary financial, provider of the home. Having that conversation can feel, for some people, very uncomfortable. That it's more than just money. It's they're discussing like, fuck, am I still the wife? Am I still the husband? What does this mean? And so they don't even bring it up. And it just operates on assumptions.
It's the cost of freedom. If you want that kind of agency, you have the responsibility to be to be intentional about it. So yeah, it requires some uncomfortable conversations, and people don't like uncomfortable conversations because a lot of people are conflict avoidant. So when everything is just like clean cut and you don't have to ask any questions, then you get forced into a box. And some people want to break out of that box. Well, if you break out of the box, now you got to have some uncomfortable conversations. And if you don't want to have uncomfortable conversations, go back into the box or just ruin the freedom that you have.
And I think Josh, you want to jump in?
I was just going to say, because Eddie brought up that point when I was thinking about that before, is the conversation aspect and how difficult it can be. But there's also another component of sometimes people don't even know how to have those conversations and don't have the words to have those conversations.
Right. You said that much better than me. Yeah, that's what I was. Yeah. So well.
Yeah, there's literature on how to do it. I don't have any resources off the top of my head, but there's definitely literature about how to have these conversations. People are talking about it. You gotta be intentional about romantic relationships like you would be any other project you're taking on.
Yeah,
true. Niggas ain't reading.
Niggas is really not reading. That's literally what I thought of when you said there's some literature on the subject. I was like, well,
or maybe some YouTube videos then.
Read some TikToks. Yeah.
YouTube shorts.
I want to see one person talking to themselves in a TikTok going through the techniques.
Yeah, but
why am I reading about talking? That's crazy.
Right.
Yeah, but my thing is and again, I think Eddie brought up some really great points, and I think that we can't. A point that I often bring up is when you have these conversations, you can't guard against both type of fallacies, right? You have to guard against the ecological fallacy, and you have to guard against the individualistic fallacy, right? So you can't say that individuals have no agency in this situation to address these things with nuance, but you also can't bring too much on the individual by discounting the structural like factors from that perspective. So I'm speaking strictly from an individual perspective at this point. I think that a rational person, and I'm not saying that people are always rational, or like we have lots of evidence that people don't operate as rational actors, right? Like the whole concept of behavioral economics is based on the fact that you can't have something outside of behavioral economics because people don't act as rational actors economically, right? So you have to have the human wild card factor in it. But starting from that as a springboard, I have never thought that any conversation with a serious partner was more uncomfortable as a cross-sectional event than the long-term ramifications of not having that conversation and being miserable based on that. Right. So I think about that all the time. How I negotiate. That's how I negotiate all these conversations. I do it with friendships. Like,
it's gonna be harder the longer I wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be harder the longer I wait. How like, and I have this negotiation tactic that I have with how I have conversations and what conversations I have. Do I want this relationship to continue? How much is preserving this relationship at the expense of myself? How uncomfortable is this conversation versus the discomfort I will have if I preserve this relationship and I don't have this conversation? So I'm not going to budge on how I negotiate those kind of things. And from that perspective, I think not having the conversation I think that's why we have, again, in the context of people having agency, why you have those high divorce rates, because people didn't realize that having an uncomfortable conversation up front was probably the better option. And I think that that's how we got to reframe stuff from that perspective. And I will also say from the perspective of a man that has always been negotiating from the perspective of what I lacked. I look at like, and this is, I talked about my journal and how I was very, very ridiculous and mathematical in terms of how I approach relationships, like as a high school student. So this is I would always look at relationships as like, I need to be like deemed physically attractive. I need to be a provider, or I need to be something that adds value interpersonally to a woman. And from my perspective, I always lacked physically in terms of what I thought women want from that perspective. So I was like, I need to make as much money as I humanly can. And I need to fucking be like a person that like cooks and cleans and is like emotionally intelligent, and like you can talk to me, and I need to be well read, and I need to be able to talk to you about like, I need to be able to talk to you about your interests on the fly. I need to know some about art. I need to know some about fucking Love Island. I need to know some shit about like
astrology.
Astrology. Like if you like tennis, I need to know some shit about tennis. Like I'm like, that's like the anthropology.
Performative male maxing. Real shit.
Actually, real shit. Like that's how like I pattern like my young life from that perspective, like dead ass. So I do think that
tote bag,
yeah, I feel it. I gotta read the New Yorker. I gotta fucking read the New Yorker and Essence and fucking.
He's wearing glasses. He don't even need glasses. It just makes me look more approachable.
Yeah. I need to read Red Book and figure out what the color of the season is. Like, you know, like some shit like that. Like, so I do think
you just put me on some shit. I'm looking at it right now. Hold on. Go ahead.
So I also think that, like, again, a rational person that wants to be partnered, also I feel like they should, not as extreme as I did, because I also think that what I did was ultimately harmful to me for a lot of reasons. I think that they should kind of pattern themselves around a person that wants to be partnered. So I think that and I love the way Kristian put it, as somebody who wants to be a spouse is navigating the current market of what it means to be a spouse, I think people need to be doing their things to try to be a good spouse. I think it's all about your market value and increasing that if you want to get what you want.
And some people spend too much time trying to figure out how to be a great partner when they haven't figured out how to be a great person. Like, if you're putting all of your attention on who you can be for somebody else, and you haven't given enough attention to who you are for yourself, it's going to put you at a disadvantage, because, you know, that's my theology. Love your neighbor as yourself. So when you find peace within yourself, then you won't be disturbing somebody else's peace when you get in a relationship. When you are secure within yourself, then you won't project insecurity onto somebody in a relationship. And a lot of people neglect the self to try to be a spouse because girls growing up in church are programmed and socialized to be a wife. What about just being a person? What about who you are outside of whatever other people expect from you? Outside of cultural expectations, relationship expectations, what about your relationship to yourself? Which is what a lot of people just ignore, unfortunately.
What does that look like to you specifically? Like, and maybe not specifically, but like examples, because I'm wondering about like, are we talking about, your hobbies? Are we talking about your interests? Are we talking about, self-care by taking a bath? I think that sort of helps me clarify what are the kinds of practices a person might have to focus on knowing and caring for themselves that then have some knock-on impacts in an actual relationship.
Yeah, that's a great question. The two things come to mind. One of my favorite quotes from Howard Thurman, mystic theologian. He said, "Don't ask yourself, what does the world need? Instead, ask yourself, what makes me come alive? Because what the world needs is people who have come alive." So you're asking, what makes me feel grounded? What makes me feel whole? When do I feel most like myself? When do I get to really take off the mask and be who I am? What does that feel like? What's going on? What are the circumstances that allow me to be that? How do I create more of that around me? And then in our community, every Monday in Patreon, we do something called Mood Monday, where we all take a look at an emotions chart and we all identify what emotion we feeling right now. Because part of loving yourself is paying attention to yourself. And a lot of people are out of touch with their emotions because they don't know how to name them. They don't know what they're feeling. So some people got to get into the practice of being able to identify, what am I feeling? Where is that coming from? Right? What do I need to do with that? Do I need to sit in that emotion right now? Do I need to give that emotion time to run its course? Do I need to move in a different direction? Sometimes I got conflicting emotions, like I'm really happy about this thing and I'm simultaneously grieving this thing. And here's a beautiful thing that I learned getting more in touch with my emotions. I learned how exhausting emotional labor is. Oh, that was such a blessing. When I learned how emotional labor physically exhausts me, I could give myself more grace. Because, I'm a creative, I'm a producer, I'm gonna get out here and make shit happen. Boom, 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 boom. But when I've done a lot of emotional labor, my creativity can't function at the same level. So before I was really in touch with how I felt, and before I was in touch with like the amount of emotional labor that I was doing, I would be hard on myself because I can't produce. When really what I needed was to rest. So getting in touch with how you feel is a major, major component to just being a whole person.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I mean, it's all start like, I think you pretty much already said it, but like, it's just self-love at the end of the day, finding out who you are as a person, having your own identity, your own life. And then like, I think Eddie might have asked like an example of like, some examples of what that might actually look like when someone just wants to be, their identity is like, I just want to be a wife, or I just want to be a husband. Like, they was kind of molded into that. And I see it quite often. It's like programming. And I mean, I see it on IG damn near every day, every other day. Like, the girl, I'm thinking of one person in particular right now, but she finally got a man, and Lord have mercy, everything is about this nigga in their relationship.
Yeah.
And like she was so dead. And I mean, it's cool. Like, if you want to be in a relationship, you want to be partnered, that's fine. But it's like you get to a certain point where it's like, damn, like this is like your whole personality almost. Like everything you're doing is kind of like woman maxing. I gotta have a business. I gotta make my own money. Like I wanna have a man that can do X, Y, and Z, because if I want my man to do this, I gotta be able to do this. But it all leads up to the point of I want a wife. I want to be a wife. You know, but like what after that?
More wife, apparently.
More wife.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say
That's the
pick,
goal.
anyway.
The goal is to be chose. Like, especially if you come out of the church, that's
Yeah.
you are waiting to be found. That's the theology. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, and then you get this reinforcement of that interpretation of that particular verse where women are constantly being told you need to be in position so you can be found. So here's what you do to set yourself up to be found, which is why you get a lot of women who won't approach a man that they're interested in. And you get a lot of men who are offended when a woman approaches them like, wait a minute, I'm supposed to do that, right? Because the man is supposed to find the woman. And if you come to me, well, then you found me. I didn't find you. It's like all of this indoctrination and programming have people thinking it's only one way this is supposed to work. So yeah, pick me is a real thing. It's baked into the theology.
Come on, pick me. Yeah, like from the outside, that found. Yeah, I can be the one. Yeah, as you say, from like the frozen section of the grocery aisle, like, come on, buy me, pick me. It feels very like when I'm from the outside that I want to be found to do the finding sounds a lot like bought and buying. Like there's this language that gets used that the feminine is defined as being worthy or valuable to the extent of being worth buying. How much money is spent on me? How much money is spent on getting me? How expensive of an item am I? To what extent can I be made into an item? And to the extent that I'm not treated as a luxury item, I'm being devalued. You know what I mean? If I'm not seen as a luxury item, then I'm not worthy. And then the same thing for men is like, I need to be capable of buying a partner. I need to be capable of lavishing this person. And for the people that I don't value, oh no, that's not you don't spend that on that type of woman. You don't put this woman. So it's this same language of to be man is to buy, and to be woman is to be worthy of being bought. And to the points of the many things that we've said, both men and women subscribe to that heavy. Like you kind of break down what certain people are saying. It's like you deeply want to be chosen, bought, found, and your sense of value comes from this. Like, if not enough money was spent on the wedding, what does that mean about who I am as a human being and as a woman, you know? And if I as a man am not making enough money, what does that mean about me as a man? Or if a woman approaches me, bitch, you think I'm the groceries? I'm the one that's supposed to be put in the cart? No. I do the picking, I do the choosing, I do the buying. Which, it doesn't seem like it works for anybody.
And we're having a conversation about patriarchy. And we're seeing how it doesn't really serve any of us. Because we're all forced to perform something that isn't natural to all of us. The patriarchy requires all of us to perform.
And you get tired of performing.
Yeah.
Why am I tap dancing for so long? I'm tired. I don't want to do it no more.
Well, that's still damn bad.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So there was this one thing that came up in this specific tweet. Let me see if I can pull it up, that I thought was interesting, because it was talking about sex in relationships. And I don't know what the church says, but I'm assuming they've got lots of stances on this. It just seems like the kind of thing that is always in some way either dictated or shamed or whatever, if that makes sense. So somebody started by saying marriage is not a vow that a man will never again be sexually wanted the way he was while being one. Too many husbands are told to accept a life of reduction, deprivation, polite little scraps. So basically, we're just talking about once you get married, you stop getting pussy. That's kind of the starting point of the thing. And in my paraphrase of it, and then somebody says like the future of marriage. So this feeling that marriage is breaking down, or it's being renegotiated, or it's being subverted, or nobody wants to be traditional, but everybody wants to be traditional, hinges on this part of the contract being honored. So this is somebody saying that this sexual mismatch, or this not getting sex during a marriage, is that this is the cornerstone of what's wrong with marriage. It's just that it's about frequency, not quality. That's what they're saying. Then this person comes in with what I view as a little bit of sense. Women lose sexual interest when they are continuously emotionally disappointed. It is very difficult for women to maintain attraction to men who cause them more stress than their children. It is difficult for women to remain attracted to men that they have to coax into caring about their shared life. I will add a little asterisk that it's not just men, it's not just women, and this applies to different things. But I think talking about men specifically and women specifically in straight hetero relationships is what I'm curious about. And so I'm curious if, Kristian, if this is a thing that comes up often.
Yeah, that's the emotional connection part, right? She's in that last post, she's talking about emotional connection. That sexual attraction for a lot of people, particularly women, has an emotional connection to it. Whereas boys are groomed to conquer. Like, we go on the chase, we want to conquer something. And then we conquer it, and then we're taught to like move on. So we're really taught to see girls as like sexual objects. So the emotional connection isn't as important for a lot of us based on how we're groomed. And women are looking for emotional connection. As a matter of fact, the sex is better the more emotionally connected we are.
That love nut is crazy.
If you can tap in to a woman's emotions, like for real, bro, that sex about to be crazy good. Because a large part of the sexual attraction is tied to the emotions. So if you have men who don't believe it is their responsibility to show up emotionally for their partner, it's going to impact the sexual exchange. And a reason a lot of men can't show up emotionally for their partner is because they don't show up emotionally for themselves. Which is why it goes back to being in touch with who you are emotionally, so you can show up in a way that is conducive for like a strong sexual connection.
Do you think that there's like and this is me about to just like riding for / defending, men in some of these situations. Because sometimes the language that gets used is like, everything was good. We were fucking good. She liked to fuck me. I liked to fuck her. And then somewhere along the road, she got bored with me, or she lost attraction to me, or, sometimes it's like, there's this language of she decided to stop fucking me. But that's like, people want to fuck. If somebody decided to stop fucking with you, they stopped wanting to fuck you, which is a different thing. It's not a job that she's doing. It's like she wanted to fuck you at some point and stopped. I just wonder if there's more than just is there something that changes? Is it that like early on women were having sex that they felt obligated, like early on in the life cycle of a given relationship, were having sex that they felt obligated to, and they actually, that this problem, the kernels of it existed very early in the relationship? Or is it that something changed across the life of the relationship?
All of the above.
I think that's my question.
All of the above. It's not a either or. It's a both and, right? So what you just said is true, right? What I just said is true sometimes. And then we also got to consider the impact, trigger warning, of sexual trauma on people.
Okay.
So statistics show that at least 1 out of every 3 women have been sexually assaulted or coerced during the course of their life. And that is a very conservative estimate, because most sexual violence goes unreported. So the impact of sexual trauma on how somebody shows up sexually is massive. It is massive. And that can wreak havoc on relationships. So imagine how many relationships have stifled sexually because there's unresolved sexual trauma. Because it might be 1 out of every 2. Or it might be higher than that. So imagine if 50% of marriages right now are trying to navigate the residue of sexual trauma. Like, there are all types of reasons why this is a struggle in marriages. It's not just one like silver bullet answer. It's a myriad of things.
Could I get you to speak to, oh, actually, sorry, Alvin, you were about to say something a second ago.
Yeah, I was going to say that there is the aspect, and I'm not saying that this is a huge percentage, but it is a percentage of women that themselves have been indoctrinated into the patriarchy, and their inability to emotionally connect is tied to the level at which their man or significant other can perform the patriarchy. So like the concept, and again, this is a lighthearted example of it, but I think it's there are darker aspects to it. The aspect of the ick is what I wrote down, right? So
yeah.
your ick can be something that
Right.
like this man can no longer perform masculinity in the way that I think he should based on a patriarchal view. He could be a great guy. He could make me laugh. He could be a good father. He could be cooking and cleaning and shit, because as I will continue to say, Black men do that better than everybody else. We're not good at it. As my
we're the
boss
least
would say,
worst.
Yeah, that's just because you're better than everybody else, that doesn't mean you're good at it. But we're better than everybody else at that kind of shit. So we can hold our own relative to the field. We aren't good at it. We should do better for sure. But if a person gets into a situation where you hear these stories where like a man loses his job, and then what that does, and how you think about like who he is as a man and how that impacts the emotional connection. So I do think that to the larger point, we've all been internalized into that patriarchal like framework that has informed everything from a religion, from, you know, obviously the economic system, obviously to the nuclear household, where I think that some of those things come into play even outside of a person just being an emotionally unavailable or stunted person.
Because I kind of almost want to run through a few of these and kind of see what like interventions as a faith-based, you know, you Kristian, to me, you kind of feel like you're sort of like a relationship advisor to people in the way that they move through the different relationships that they might have in their life through a faith-based lens. But correct me if that feels incorrect.
I mean, you know, I'll share what insight that I have. I don't really consider myself a relationship advisor, but you know, I got enough lived experience to know a few things, and just understanding a little bit about like emotional health and mental health, and how religious indoctrination impacts the way we move through the world. So, you know, I try to, I do what I can, but I definitely wouldn't. I wouldn't label myself a real.
Well, let me put it softer. I feel like you have takes on how people might apply faith to their relationships. Maybe is what I'm trying to get.
Oh yeah,
at.
absolutely. Yeah.
So like I've got on this list, like why do marriages turn into a like we're two roommates, you know, who don't like each other. I want to fuck my wife, she don't want to fuck me. The dishes are where everybody's mad about the dishes, all that kind of shit. And one of them is like the concept of the ick, which is the man, the expectations of sort of hegemonic masculinity on the man become increasingly impossible to maintain across a marriage. It's like, yeah, you were attracted to like a man, he was a guy and he was hot and he was a perfect, you know, combination of things as he was performing early on in the courting. But it's like, yeah, but then you married a human and you didn't get a husband, you got a spouse. And as you get to know this guy, yeah, he's kind of corny, because everybody kind of is. And he became less attractive over time. And that feels like it's, you know, whatever percentage it is. But that's one of the things. I think I agree with Alvin on that. Then there's the men aren't socialized. Number two is men aren't, you know, emotionally even in a position to be able to show up. So early on, there maybe isn't the expectation. Then it's like, y'all get married, y'all get in a relationship, and it's like, I want a partner. I want somebody who shows up for me, who thinks ahead of time about the things that I might want, has a hot water bottle because my stomach is hurting, I got cramps or whatever, and, you know, has made me a cup of tea. Just, you know, is thoughtful. That degrades over time. Maybe a man stops caring, sex dries up in the same vein. And then there's actually, the sex was never really that good to me. I was doing it early on because that's what you're supposed to do. And now I feel free because we're married and I'm tired. I'm a grown ass woman. I never really wanted to fuck you that much. We were never really that in sync. And I suspect that that's some percentage of these. I feel like those are the three main ones. I don't know if I missed any, but I'm curious if you've got specific bits of wisdom that you might have people apply to each of those three different kinds of scenarios where the institution of marriage results in people not fucking how they want to, essentially.
I add also the bait and switch. Some people just
some people just give you
their representative until they lock you into a commitment. Like that's a real thing.
I think that kind of falls to the ick and the emotional one, which is like men are pretending to be emotionally available, and then as they get more share in the pussy, where they feel like, oh, I already got this, I don't got to earn it no more. They draw back on that, in the same thing of the performance of masculinity, where it's like, fuck, I feel safe with you, so I feel like I can be a person, not just a man. And then now you've got the ick or whatever. Those both feel like that performance.
Yeah. A lot of communication is where I like always stress people put energy. Like it has to be ongoing communication, like talking about how you feel, how something impacted you, and not just like negatively, talking about the stuff that you like. Like I really, really appreciate when you do this. I love when you do that. Like keep doing that. Or this doesn't really sit well with me. Can we think of another way to handle this? Or this thing that you do, it impacts me in this way. But these are difficult conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So what I try to recommend people do, if you can, put it on the schedule. Like just have a check-in. Like let's have a check-in every so often where we just sit down and talk about what we appreciate about each other. Like what's the stuff that stands out? Tell me something.
Love letters.
Yeah. Tell me something that I did that you really appreciated in the past 4 weeks. Tell me something that I did that got under your skin a little bit. Because if you can have these conversations.
I just think it was funny how last week. I like that.
But if you can go into these conversations intentionally while your emotions are regulated, it allows you to have
you're not coming in
more
hot.
productive. Yeah, you're not coming in hot. You're not having you're having a more productive conversation. But if every time you talk about something that bothers you, your emotions are escalated, it's not going to be as healthy of a conversation. So I always start with like intentional communication. Put it on a schedule. Like have a rhythm. We're going to check in every so often and just see how things are going. And you'd be surprised how much people struggle with that. You would be surprised how difficult it is for people to sit down and have an intentional conversation about how things are going.
One of the things that feels hard as fuck to do is like the emotional one of being like, hey, I feel like you're not intentional. That makes me feel like I'm having to mother you. And that makes it feel harder for me, for my pussy to get away from you. Like I'm just being straight. That feels a little bit easier than, man, you were playing pool and you missed a shot and it just made me feel like you was a corny nigga and I don't want to fuck you a little bit. Like, how do you have a conversation about that? That feels, having a conversation about the ick or renegotiating that seems hard. I'm not going to say impossible, of course not, but that does seem like a difficult combo to have.
I mean,
you know what I'm saying, right? Like, you know what I'm getting at?
So give me the ick again. You said you hit a terrible shot on the pool table, and now I don't want to fuck you no more. That seemed kind of
extreme. Yeah, okay. Because I was using hyperbole to get my point across, but the idea being that like there are little. So the concept of the ick broadly, just for the audience, and clarifying what we're talking about, is that there are these little sort of performances of masculinity that can kind of cause this little weird bristle that women kind of express, where it's like, oh, you kind of like you tripped, or you skipped, or you held your nose when you were diving into a pool, you wore a shirt when you got into a pool, just little missteps of masculinity that kind of cause the ick. And the idea that Alvin was expressing is that sometimes those add up in a way where, because a woman's been indoctrinated into patriarchy, as he put it, you're like less attracted to him because his humanness has come out, in opposition to this hegemonic masculinity that can't be maintained across a relationship. And that causes that attraction and that spark to drop off. And there's tons and tons of TikToks of women listing their, icks of, oh, he did this little thing or whatever. One being an example of, missing a pool shot cornerly is why I gave that example. And then it's like, oh, that was just a little bit, damn, am I married to a corny nigga? Like that, just that little bit of ick.
Yo, that's hilarious though. Like for something like that to be so detrimental,
You've seen these TikToks, right? Because these are like a very popular format of things.
Yeah. I have, like, what's something that somebody did that made you like not want to have sex with them anymore? Like something,
And it'd be some
it'd be like
small
something
little
petty. Yeah,
right.
I've seen those.
There we go.
I mean, hopefully, before you get too deep into the relationship, you would see that. Are you saying like people seeing this after they get married?
100%. I think that's core to my stance, and I think some of what Alvin said. One of the issues that I think is, and this is everybody, gender is a thing that we perform. And so as you are partnered with somebody longer and longer and longer, you will see more of their human self. There is no motherfucker that's cool 24/7. There is no motherfucker that don't trip, that don't snore, that don't
Maybe
fart, and they
Josh.
sleep a little bit. Maybe Josh, maybe Josh, but outside of that, I don't think it's anybody that's cool 24/7. They vomit when they are drunk. You know what I'm saying? They get confused. One of the ones was the ick was when he wakes up and he's a little bit confused for a second when he first wakes up. That was. And we all understand what that is. It's like there's something about, as a man, being in a state of not being prepared to fucking take on the day that feels a little bit emasculine in the way that we're taught that thing is. And those are the things that you discover years into a relationship, because what gender is okay, I got to hold on to being a man so that she can be woman. So I got to hold on to that. But that shit get heavy. 20 years in, you're like, all right, I've been doing this every single, you know what? I'm gonna cry for the first time in front of this woman is one of the more healthy examples of this. But yeah, you let shit slip.
And so here's another thing, because like if you with somebody and everything's going well, and then like one day they get up and they a little confused, and now you think they corny. if that's a deal breaker, then I guess you got to go ahead and break the deal. But
it's not a deal breaker. It might just make you not fuck them as much, and then they start having this conversation from this tweet. That's the situation. It's more in between than that.
Yeah, and then like that can become the deal. Like if I do something that is seemingly minor, and it make you not want to fuck anymore, but like that's really important to me, it's probably gonna ultimately become a deal breaker.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and I know this is gonna sound real like blasphemous and heretical, and
that's why we bring you on here, brother.
I think we got to get over marriage lasting for a lifetime.
Thank you.
All right now. Okay.
There we go. Yeah.
All right.
Marriage license. Renew your marriage license like you renew your driver's license. Every 5 years.
Yeah,
Alvin, you've been saying that for some years, haven't you?
That's what I'm saying. It's a movement now. It's a movement.
Yeah. Our numbers grow daily.
Yeah,
that's great. No, I like the idea. It's like you're my life partner for this chapter of my life. You're not my life partner for all of life. Don't get me wrong. I like the idea of someone holding your hand through to eternity. I like the idea of that. That doesn't necessarily have to be your romantic and sexual partner either, though. I think lifelong friendships are things that are very undervalued in this conversation. But I love the idea of like, let's renew these vows every 5 years, and if not, the contract naturally dissolves with no stress, you know?
Yeah. Like it's very rare for somebody to be married 40, 50 years. Those are the exceptions, not the rule. When you meet somebody and they're like, yeah, we've been married for 45 years, you be like, really? Wow.
But what's the secret?
Yeah, what's the secret?
Yeah, you asking them what's the secret, which is crazy. Yeah.
Because most people don't.
Yeah, and that's fine,
right?
Is what you're arguing.
And we beat ourselves up for not being able to see it all the way through until death do us part. Well, maybe we should like just lower the stakes a little bit.
Ooh, okay. Because this feels like a real, like this feels like the most salient. It just clicked in my head of like this solution for the marriage contract or the breaking down of attraction is just, you know, even if you're faith-based, is like, stop. Do a different one. Change track. Cool. Like the sex dried up in this relationship. All good. Have a good one, ma'am. We've concluded our contract. Let's do another one.
I also think like, and what I wrote down is I think core to what was something that Kristian was talking about is I think people need to get comfortable with longer courtships. And we've talked about that pretty extensively on this podcast. I think there's still a lot of people. There's still a lot of people that think that I should want to marry you and we can be all happy after a year. Quote Aziz Ansari, sure. There are sweaters that I've had for a year, and then I wake up one morning and I'm like, I fucking hate that shit. I
don't even like this sweater. Yeah,
I don't even like this.
I'm trying it out.
So like,
65-day tryout.
So if you have a longer courtship, then you've seen all of the icks, right? You've seen people through multiple seasons, hopefully, and then you know whether or not these particular icks are deal breakers. So I have icks, right? And I actually know what they are, so I look for them like specifically. So I hate you. This is a TikTok trend too. The whole like I'm a woman, so when I'm with my man, I can completely turn my brain off. If any woman ever says that shit to me, I'm like, this is like disgusting. Done. Like I'm out. If you're just like I can be singing, 1,000 miles. Yeah, that shit is super unattractive to me. Like I also hate, and as an extension of that, I think it's really unattractive if somebody wants me to solve all of their problems. I make it very clear that like I am not your. Like I'm not paying all the bills. I'm not solving every single financial issue that you have. Like, so any hints of anything in that realm of like me being your savior in that perspective, ick, done. And I know that up front. I look for my icks. I look for those things and you'll see them come out. Like you'll see the quote unquote human side, as we keep calling it, come out if you're with somebody over multiple seasons, and you'll see what your deal breakers look like when they manifest, if they manifest. And I think it allows you to make a better informed decision.
I like that. How long do you think? Because I that's something that I've been thinking about a lot, to where I like wrote it out. I remember like I've written this down, like these very granular relationship steps. And I understand when I write this kind of stuff down, you can't control or sort of put things into like a clean Excel spreadsheet box, but I find it very useful setting markers for the kinds of things that might happen in a, like in sex, you talk about bases or whatever, but like they're almost like emotional bases of like, okay, cool. At what point are we spending more than 3 nights together in the same home? At what point are we cohabitating? We've been cohabitating for 6 months, but have we traveled together? Or at what point do we say, you're my partner, I'm your partner? When have I met your parents? When have I met your friends? Have we owned a pet together? All of these little like experiences that we might share together. And I've measured it in that way, as opposed to years. Because maybe we could speed run a bunch of shit, and I'm like, cool, I kind of know how you are in a bunch of different seasons, but that has its own drawbacks. I'm wondering if you have any way of approximating how long you think a courtship ought to be for people in general, and then for Alvin specifically.
For people in general, I always say 3 to 4 years.
Okay, that's good. Cool.
I think to your point, it can be faster depending on how life be lifing. Depending on where you are.
COVID years are different. Like if you've done a bunch. All right, cool.
And there's definitely like relationships that I've had where like, and I'm saying this as a notoriously like slow mover in relationships where like things have happened like really fast. So you see a lot of stuff like like fairly quickly, and I think a lot of that was like living with women. I think you see a lot more than like simply dating them. And so I think you can speak around some stuff from that perspective. But I would say for me, like it really just depends. It's probably going to be more than 4 years. I've explicitly had the conversation with women, and I'll tell them up front. I was like, it's not even a conversation. I'm not even thinking about it before 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. You let them know at the end of the relationship, hey, by the way, I think we could have got married. Goodbye.
Not the end of the relationship.
No, but the weird thing is
conclusion, that was a marriage. Yeah.
No, but the weird thing about it is like, and this was my last point, and I'll stop talking so much. Is
it's been good.
A lot of times, the women that I've been with, and they don't say it up front, but like they imply it at various points in my life. Like I've punched above my weight, as I say, but I think that tends to get interpreted as physically, but also like from a money perspective. At least in their minds anyway. Like I've never been with anybody that like made more money with me, but like in their mind, they were like more more socially like.
Oh, class based.
Yes. That's
Okay.
That's the way to put it.
Yeah, which that's like
Um,
a upbringing thing as well, or like their
it's
parents were middle class type shit.
Yes, it's like, my mom was a software engineer and Alvin's
Yeah,
mom was a cashier at Lowe's type shit.
yeah. You be
Um,
their little Goodwill Hunting situation. It's like,
yes. So the women that I've been with frequently have reservations about marrying me. So I often can just completely swerve that conversation, like, because they'll say shit like,
because they're not ready either. Yeah,
yeah, and that's gonna become more and more of a thing. I think that's kind of core to the conversation where it's like, as women make more money, like the laws as written actually don't say, when you get divorced, the man has to give all this stuff. It's written as the higher earner has to give up XYZ. Like the higher earner gets taken, for this kind of stuff. So like, as women make more and more money, I've often speculated, and it's gonna happen first in the Black community, because again, Black men still on average make more money than Black women and working fewer hours. So if Black men worked as many hours as Black women, it would be even more of a thing. But we don't. But we still on average make more money. But that's going to change very quickly. This is a 5 to 10 year window where that average is going to change. So I imagine that the voices of, is it financially, can I risk getting married financially, will be a conversation that a lot of women will continue to have at a higher clip. And I will say, for me and the women that I've been with, I think that they've all had the conversation of like, financially, socially, was Alvin, too risky?
Was Alvin too risky? Hey, if nothing else, make less money, Black men. Get married, make less money.
Real shit. That's real shit. It's real shit, low key. See if she really love you,
Yeah, see how real it is, got us.
That's what I'm saying. Because like low key, I will one of the things that I'll add, like from a, I guess, stats perspective, because I was looking this up trying to get a hang of it. Yes, the wage gap between men and women, like amount of money earned, divided by number of hours, men make more than women on average in the US. The gap is much smaller among Black men. But when you look at like population pockets instead of just the average of all of America, and you start to go like, what's the gap in Atlanta specifically? What's the gap in New York? And in like major metropolitan areas, the shit is already reversed. Like Atlanta is like they make 102 to our like $1.02 to our dollar. So it's already reversed in major like metropolitan areas. And Atlanta being a major big Black city. So this is already a thing that people are already experiencing as their lived reality. Like I say this as a man dating in Atlanta, every woman that I dated made more money than me, but that's because I was a bit of a bum. But I think that that's a reality for lots of people.
I love how you never like shy away from that. It's almost like a badge of honor. Like, he said that shit with pride, like, man,
because it really mean I'm bad, low key. Like, I mean, so it is, yeah.
I mean, you was a bad bitch, man. You know what I'm saying? No, don't let nobody tell you no difference, my brother.
That's all. I just gotta let y'all know. You know what I'm saying? I get bought. You know what I'm saying? They put me in the cart.
Throw them in the bag.
Yeah, we go.
Well, I tell you, oh my God, you just got.
Oh no, not a story.
Kristian, you will never believe what this man used to do with what he had, man. I tell you, this is a vault right here. Goddamn it!
I'm intrigued.
Should I still do it low key? I can split a penny good. You know what I mean? Give me $10. I'll throw a banquet.
Sorry, I dropped out. My internet went out at the house, so I had to switch to my phone.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, we saw. I shot you a little email, but what we were basically just talking about was the idea of marriage having to be renegotiated as the gap in wage decreases. And Alva started talking about like, oh, we're going to be in positions where women, spouses who are women, wives, will be in positions where they've got to pay out alimony because just the gender to money thing will become more and more decoupled over time. And I brought up the fact that for many metropolitan areas, that gap has already reversed in the direction of women, where like in Atlanta, women make, like $1.02 to our dollars. And it's a black city. Black folks, our gap is already smaller, and metropolitan areas, the gap is smaller than, you know, rural areas or America broadly. So Atlanta niggas are already are already, you know, reconciling with the fact that, like, the idea that your gender dictates which person is going to be the moneymaker in a relationship that's ship is sailed.
Yeah, we renegotiating everything in relationships, yo. It's like this whole conversation, we've been talking about this for an hour and a half. That's how much we got to renegotiate. You know what I'm saying?
Important. Yeah.
We've been and we haven't like worn this conversation out. The conversation hasn't dragged on like we're beating a dead horse. It's just that nuance and complex that there's so much to consider because now we have so much more agency. So like even like the divorce rate, like our grandmothers couldn't get divorced. What were they gonna do? They didn't have any other options. Like marriage was about financial security. Where they gonna go? So now, if a woman is in a career or she has income that she makes for herself, she doesn't have to stay in a miserable, toxic relationship like her mother or grandmother did. So we're renegotiating a whole lot here.
I see someone, the destiny experience, throw the gender norms in the trash and just communicate with your person. That's great, but the thing about it is, like, definitely we do need to be able to communicate, but it's like you got to have somebody who is on that level of communication with you, or who has those same values.
Yeah, you got to select,
especially when it comes to the gender norm shit. Like, I mean, because like there are so many more people that are subconsciously stuck in gender norms and they don't even realize it, including like we all have our blind spots too. But it's so difficult. Well, one of the difficult aspects of it is having someone who actually shares those same values with you to be able to have those tough conversations and it actually come out well, or when you guys like understand each other. You know, it might take a day or two, but still, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't become like a big thing. Y'all actually got through the tough combo.
Yeah, and whatever you looking for, you just need to be clear about that. If you're really big into gender norms, there's somebody out there who's into them as well. You just got to be on the same page with that person. Like, but you got people who like, I'm in the gender norms, so whoever I get with, they just need to get with that. Nah, like you need to have that conversation. If you a man and you want to be a financial provider and you looking for a wife who is going to cook and clean and have your children, there is a woman out there that wants to do that, but you can't impose that on every woman that you encounter. That's not realistic.
Yeah, absolutely. Says not gender norms being a kink. Some people get off on that. If you dissect some of the shit that people be doing in their bedroom.
I mean, it's like, I feel like we all do. Like, isn't that what, maybe this is me reversing some of my points, but I'm like, if I'm straight or gay or anything, it's like, yeah, I kind of like when women are women. Like that is the thing that inspires attraction in my mind. And it's the same thing. I know that sounds crazy, but like,
boy, you was about to set the left streets ablaze, nigga.
No, I said exactly what the fuck I said, but I didn't mean what people tend to mean when they say that. But not something that far off. Like, I'm attracted to the gender that is women. You know what I mean? Like, that's by definition a thing that's different than me, and women are attracted to the thing that is a man, whatever that might mean for them. So it's like, however much you might dissect it, it's like you can't dissect it to the point to where we're both just gray, genderless blobs. You know what I'm saying? Even that would be a preference, you know. So
what do you like? What do you like about feminine women? What do you like in particular about them?
The list is long. Like, you could just go to like the most basic animalistic level of just like the female form, titties, ass, hips, face, the way that their faces look relative to ours, the way that their hands and feet look relative to ours. Like, that's you're that form of human being. It inspires a thing in your mind. We're all, you know, straight men in this podcast. We know what that thing that I'm talking about. And then beyond that, there's also Then there's the performance of gender, which I think we all respond to, where it's like, oh wow, you're so flowery and elegant, and you smell like whatever fucking perfume you picked, and that enhances this thing even more, and attraction gets built in that thing. This is not to say that those things shouldn't be questioned, but that's like, I think sometimes we kind of act like, oh, we can just have a conversation until we're interchangeable. And it's like, no, like a woman might say to me, like, the thing that I'm attracted to about you is, I don't know, I don't know. Like, let's say I'm kind of handy with, around the house or whatever. I find that attractive. When I watch you fix some shit, that inspires something in me that makes me feel attracted. And that's like, okay, cool. That's gendered, and you're attracted to the gendered sort of like flavor of that thing. But I'm comfortable performing that thing. That's fine. I'm okay with the fact that you're attracted to that. Or like, if we're talking about a young MA and the shit that she was talking about on Shannon Sharp, it's people who are like, I'm attracted to your grill and your fitted cap and your watch and your rings and the way the shoes that you wear, because it's a certain performance of masculinity that inspires something. That's what I'm getting at. Oh, sorry, that's to answer the question.
Yeah. Nah, that I think that's important to name that. Mm-hmm. Because when you name it, then you are clear on your expectations, and you can be clear with the woman that you're dealing with, right? There are certain aspects of femininity that I really appreciate that aren't going to be as important to somebody else. Like some men think it's masculine for women to cuss. Right. I'm not one of those guys. I like when my women cuss. But that's a conversation that might have to be had, because like some women will cut down on their use of profanity around a man because some men don't find that unattractive.
Yeah.
I like when my women fart around me.
Some men wouldn't want it.
Oh yeah, some men find that shit. Oh, how could you? I mean, it's like, bro, like being human, like be comfortable. And it's not like the
farting smell different
itself. I don't want to. It's not like
does it smell like, oh, that's a girl fart?
No, I'm not into like, I don't have like a sniff.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. Well,
no,
okay.
It's just like
it wasn't a crazy question on my part. You said it.
I didn't take it as a crazy thing. I was just
okay.
I was just funny guy.
I'm just fucking with you, dog. It's good.
Oh my god.
But no, like, it's just like being human, being allowed to be yourself. And like, shoot, niggas be having a fart. I'll be having a fart. Like, goddamn, like, it's natural. Shit,
let it out.
Fart, pee. I
feel that.
Be yourself, baby.
Let it out.
But if you funking up the whole room, and vice versa, hey, we
might have to talk about your diet.
We got to have some decorum.
Yeah, we might have to discuss that diet. Yeah, I very much feel like like there are some gender expectations that are just kind of probably bad, and there are other ones where I'm like, I actually don't mind if a woman does things that even in my own mind inspire a little modicum of masculinity. It's like everybody has a little bit of those things, and those things are learned things. So I'm like, yeah, maybe Kristian is a little bit manly, but I'm like, I don't mind a mannish woman. Like, it evens out. You're a human.
With a deep voice too. Felicia Rashad type.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's different.
So it's like,
everybody.
Yeah, you can be a little bit boyish, a little bit masculine, a little bit butch. And I'm like, yeah, I've dated women they're a little butch. It's like, yeah, it's masculine, but in the average in my mind, it arrives at something that triggers whatever my version of heterosexuality is, and that's fine.
And you know what? There are okay. I don't have all the words, so I might
it's a feeling.
Misspeak here a little bit, but I hope everyone knows what I mean. But like, there are some women who like
you dated a nigga, basically.
Hey,
and what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that?
Exactly.
You dated a nigga with a
and
vagina,
what?
bro.
Oh, sorry. And what?
It is what it is, yo.
Well, yeah, but just to go based off of that joke, we just like, you dated a homie basically, or you dated a nigga basically. It's like there are also some women who look like their fathers, like the female version of their father.
Yeah,
and they be bad as fuck. Like it's like, yo, it's like something.
Big Daddy,
like,
yeah. I kind of see. Yeah, you was cooking, father. I kind of see what you did there.
And like, it's one old cat told me, he was like, I like. Damn, he used some, like, the words that he used to describe it was not PC at all.
Go ahead.
I think it was like a woman. I think he might have said something to the effect of like a woman that kind of got like that dog. Are they all gay? Oh, gay?
What confusion?
I kind of know what he's talking. I kind of know what he's talking about.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Kind of get it.
I knew it. Yeah, I know exactly what he's saying. I thought it was funny.
Yeah, and he was like, and, you know, sometimes he was like, yeah, man, and this is a big ass nigga too. Like, I mean, tall, like,
yeah.
He was like, yeah, man, that shit attractive, man. I mean, I like that shit. And yeah, like I know a couple women was like, oh, I see what he mean, but like I see what he means, but she's also very feminine, like very effeminate, like, you know, a woman's woman.
Yeah. So like,
I know we getting gender, like, you know, but yeah.
Did anybody on here watch Snowfall other than me?
I can't get into it. I don't like the Denzel impersonation. Sorry, but continue.
I fucking love Snowfall.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking about Louis, like, because when people talk about like the femininity of it, and I think Eddie, like, I think this is an addendum to your point. The stuff that people talk about femininity, for me, it's all form. Like most of the stuff that people like, oh, I like when a woman is like a woman. All of that is usually bullshit to me. Like,
what do you mean by bullshit? Or maybe you're about to say.
So for example, like people like, oh, she needs to smell flowery. That means nothing to me. Oh, she needs to be soft and all this. Everything that people describe as soft.
That doesn't trigger those things for you.
That doesn't trigger. I like the way, I like the stereotypical quote unquote feminine form is what I'm talking about. But like other than that, like I like fucking, like, you know, the homie, you know, whatever. But like,
you gotta marry your best friend.
Just that comment. Are they all gay? I'm confused.
Right.
But his step aunt in Snowfall, his step aunt, the actress is just like extremely attractive, by the way. But like that opening scene where they introduce her, and like Jerome's little young side thing come over there, and he was like, "You better go on out here before I send what you call it on you." And like she beat the shit out of that woman. I'm like, and he's on the porch, like, yeah, he's doing that shit. She's like a wild jungle cat. It's like the imagery that you like evoke when he's about someone you got the dog in her. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he found it attractive. It was a turn on. But for some dudes, that would be scary.
I don't like that. That's not attractive to me, but I have no issue with that. Like, there's so many different things that you could find. Yeah, because I remember back when I was using dating apps. There was a woman who had like her main picture was her knocking a bitch out in like an MMA ring. I was like, no, thank you. That's good. That could be me. Have a good one, ma'am. But Alvin might have been like, yes, please. I get it.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm like,
probably would have been like, what else is here? Swipe right.
I see. Yeah. So there's a million different and you know, like, because women always talk about I like boys that look like girls that look like boys, or, you know, type shit of, you know, masculinity with little bits of recursive femininity, like wrapped into it. Your Harry Styles, your Princes, your Mikes, your Lenny Kravitz, that, you know, that masculine with a bit of feminine folded into it. It's like, that's kind of how we all are.
We all got a mixture. Yeah. Like we all have like masculinity and femininity within us. So it's just like, you know, it's a spectrum. Some people lean more to the masculine side of the spectrum. Some people lean more to the feminine side of the spectrum. But like, we all got it in us. Like a whole lot of us like to be the little spoon sometimes.
Who gotta do it at least some of the time. Come on,
God, yes, yo, little spoon me every now and then. Okay, it's just, you know, it's just different things. and I think the question of like, are they gay, just kind of points to how the binary works.
That's so good.
Super fragile.
Like, if you don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't show up a certain way and like have a very strict set of likes, then you gay. That's how a lot of people think.
So everybody gay, because I guarantee you, nobody, if you don't ask them enough, like if you ask them enough questions, it's some little gay shit in the shit that they like in the opposite gender.
Yeah,
and that's cool.
Yeah. And if we could all be free to acknowledge that, we'd have much healthier relationships and we'd be more fulfilled and happier because we could be honest about who we are. But a lot of people can't be honest with themselves about who they are. We're afraid of the feminine parts of ourselves. We don't want to really own that type of stuff. Like I don't gender fragrances.
Interesting.
I do not gender
Really?
fragrances at
I feel you
all.
on that.
Listen, let me tell you something.
Okay.
I go into the perfume shop. I go into the fragrance store.
You in Sephora already.
Whatever smells good to me, I'm gonna get it. I don't care who they made it for.
Yeah.
Same thing with my deodorant. I was in Walmart. I live on the nigga side of town.
Let's go. Yeah.
I live on the nigga side of town, so they lock up the deodorant. And
That's oh shit.
So you got
honestly just let them have it. Like why we keep being funky? Like just it's fine.
Exactly. So you know, I called over one of the employees to help me get the deodorant. I use Secret. Because once I
thought you was gonna say Secret. I thought you was,
I was hoping you wasn't gonna say Secret because in my experience, it is not strong enough for a man, or at least not strong enough for me.
It's not really made for a man.
It's different for everybody. Secret was the first thing that held me for real. Like Old Spice didn't work, Right Guard didn't work. I tried Secret and I was locked in. I'm going to get the Secret, and it's an older black lady who come to open the thing for me, and she was like, "What you want?" I said, "Right there." She's like, "Well, that's for the women. You don't want to be over there?" I said, "No, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Give me the damn Secret so I can
see what color it is."
Yeah, like I want to smell like lavender. Thank you.
Yeah, lavender's not gendered though. What we doing now? But
I'm telling
I'm with you on that one.
I'm telling you. Listen, it's an issue with the internet in Atlanta right now, ain't it?
That's
bro,
probably what it is.
You can't do shit as a man. Like you can't do nothing at all.
Oh, gender wise.
We're not allowed to. You can't breathe wrong. You can't do nothing on these internet.
Because I'm kind of with you a bit, Kristian, where I was like, because I would say I gender a lot of stuff, but I'm like, yeah, but I want to add this little thing or this, that kind of thing. Because like with fragrances, for instance, it's fragrances where I'm like, how do I describe it? There are fragrances that I want to fuck. That's what I'm doing in my head. And that's just me trying to put it like plain so you know what I'm saying. It's like that smells like, who is that? And there are other fragrances where I'm like, oh, I'd like to smell like that, and that's kind of the divide. And so I'm like, oh yeah, cool. Because there are flowers that I'm like, I wouldn't mind smelling like that flower. There are other flowers where I'm like, I want to have that smell on me because somebody left it on me, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's
but culture says you're supposed to like certain things, and if you don't, that's gay.
And that's why that's the problem. Yeah,
that's how you get ignorant people in the comments saying, "What y'all must be gay," because y'all believe you supposed to show up a certain way, and if you don't, then you're gay. When it's like, I know what I like. I'm very clear. The people who I deal with know what I like. The people who I've dealt with know what I like. So it's like, I'm not trying. Let me wait a minute. What? Let me put my thing. What did I say?
Pretty much, Moon. I feel seen. That's pretty much what it is. Is that not how y'all feel? Because I feel like sometimes I like I can't tell if I'm more or less horny than other straight men. Because sometimes I say something and it's like, oh, but then other times, like when we were in London and we were, talking about seeing women and stuff like that, I'm like, fuck, is my horniness on backwards? You know what I mean?
Nah, I understand what you're saying. Like there are certain fragrances, like, ooh, it's a turn on. Like you smell it. Yeah, I totally get. I mean, it was just the visual of like, I want to stick with this flower.
That's what it feels like in my mind. But yeah,
hell no, a whole new term of deflowering a woman.
You see what I'm? It's all, you know what I mean. There's different levels to this. You know what I mean. You got to study the ancient arts if you really want to understand.
But yeah. I feel because like I mean, Kristian, I'm more so aligned with you than maybe Eddie on that. Like as far as like fragrances and scents, because I mean, shit, like if it smells really good, like it just smells good, and and then also like when you put like colognes or like a scent on your skin, like your own skin chemistry like changes the notes after you wear it anyway. So it might not have the same exact effect as if a woman were to wear it with her own pheromones and bodily chemistry and but if it smells good, if you smell good, you just smell good.
Yeah. My favorite fragrance is actually a perfume, and I wore it to a family gathering, and one of the older women in my family, like friend of the family, like hugged her, And she's like, "Ooh, you smell good." And I said, "Thank you." I said, "It's actually a perfume called such and such." And she froze because in her mind, if a man smells good, it's cologne, not perfume. And if a man is wearing perfume, he must be gay.
That's gay. Yeah, I see.
So, and now she feels conflicted because she wasn't supposed to like a perfume on this man, but she had already acknowledged
that. Fucked her all the way up.
Yeah. She's like, now is something wrong with me? It's like, no,
you tricked me.
Yeah. Like, there's really no need for fragrances to be gendered. Like,
no, I feel that because I just use perfume to mean everything. Because when I'm thinking of cologne, it's like it's a specific type of perfume that's like a low dilution. You know what I mean? So I'm not even thinking of that cologne means boy. I'm like, it's all fragrances, it's all perfumes, but you have masculine perfumes and feminine perfumes. Yeah, exactly. Eau de parfum is like that kind of vibe. But yeah, that's real shit.
But see, like Eddie, I don't
really trick that lady.
That's the crazy thing, Eddie, because like I don't like that. It's like, nah, nigga, I'm wearing cologne. But like I don't, I guess like that's where I draw that line, like mentally somewhere. Yeah. You know what I mean?
So like, you wearing flower cologne, and I'm wearing, musk perfume.
Got some cologne, nigga.
It's lavender cologne. The fuck?
Right.
This is the magical mess of gender. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm literally in musk perfume, and you in lavender cologne.
And I like to keep you on your toes, man. And, I get nail art on my thumb sometimes when I get my manicure. Like I get like symbols and like my logo because
reminders. Yeah.
It's a creative expression for me.
It's like tattoos.
Yeah. But like culture says color on your nail bed is a woman thing.
Yeah.
Like they're just cultural expectations that are they're just arbitrary. they're completely
it's like music
arbitrary.
Or fashion. We can remake the shit. Yeah,
it's completely arbitrary. So we get into a lot of performance of gender for the sake of not being called gay.
Yeah. Look, to be fair, I thought it was a funny comment whoever made. I thought it was hilarious. I thought it was a tongue in cheek because he was like, "Wait, are they all gay?" I'm confused. I'm just trying to be an ally. Like I didn't even take it as an insult. I was like, he was trying to figure out how to support. Wait, is everybody gay here, or what type of podcast is this?
It may have been.
Y'all are describing niggas right now, which is fine. Support it, but
it may have been. We probably have to ask them a little bit more. But based on what I saw in the comments, I think they was like, "Oh, the way these niggas is talking, they must be gay."
They moving gay. Okay.
That was the way.
You know what podcast you came to? You know what I'm saying? We move like that.
And listen, I get called gay on the internet like every week, so that's nothing new for me. Like just because of the fact that I'm inclusive in my outlook and I advocate for Q+ people, like folk want me to be gay so bad. So it's like it's nothing for me.
They're hopeful.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You want to know something crazy? I as much as we've joke about that I have lots of I guess aesthetic interests and shit like that. Low key, I very infrequently in my life had anybody like be like, "Oh, are you gay?" or anything really even like that. Until recently, after I cut my hair short, weirdly I've been getting more "Wait, are you straight?" comments, which is opposite to what I intended when I got the cut. So I don't know what I've done. Yeah.
Wait. Now that you've been getting, you said, wait a minute. You said now that you've been cutting your hair more, like people have been saying, "Wait, are you straight?" Like they thought you were gay before.
Oh, that's good.
It was the other way around.
That's so good. Yeah. Oh, wait, I thought you were gay the whole time. I didn't. That's why I never bothered to question it. That's good.
Yo,
no, I was saying that I've never had anybody like. It's been very rare in my life for anybody to assume that I wasn't attracted to women. Like that's been my experience. Perhaps in conflict with the fact that I've got different types of interest or whatever. But when I got my hair cut short, I've had a few women be like, "Wait, do you?" Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, "Wait, do you? Are you?" Kind of a thing. A couple times where I was like, "Oh, wait, the fuck? This is new." Yeah.
I mean, in the past, you had
Alvin.
Your mic is crazy.
Yeah, I tried to change it. That's why I logged off. But
okay,
I'll be quiet.
No.
Please still say if you don't have the mic to just say it on this mic. That's all right. We like McDonald's drive-thru over here.
Yeah. I was just gonna say you had. I mean, let's be honest, Eddie, you used to have them holes on you, man. So that was probably some plot armor to your interests, back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know why he acting confused. Like he don't know what
No, I'm just trying to understand what you're. I'm trying to understand.
How many hoes were on my dick?
Were upon me,
Yeah.
Okay. So you saying the Prince promiscuity plot armor?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But that's true. True. I totally agree with you. That's the point I've made about like Prince and Lenny Kravitz and all those and Harry Styles. Like you get a little bit more leeway if you're promiscuous as a man to do different type of gender shit. But it seems to be unrelated to that. Like it's just a haircut change. With no change in the volume of hoes that are upon me at a given time.
I was preaching online at this church, and so it was just like this. I wasn't sitting in this exact place, but I was sitting in front of my camera. I was full screen, and a friend of mine was watching me preach with his family, like some extended family as well. And not everybody who was there with him knew who I was. So one of his elder aunties looked at me on the screen, and I have a soft face. I don't have facial hair. And she said, "Well, is she a lesbian?"
Oh my God, that's crazy.
You just assumed I was a woman.
Yeah.
Well, Kristian,
in a way,
you under a certain lighting, you do look like you could be
a stud.
A little pretty.
Just a little pretty.
Yeah, lovely.
Yeah, it's wild.
That's the real answer to the question. This is a stud podcast. We all studs on here.
I never thought about that. He said I got a soft face.
Oh God. Yeah.
Oh my God. It's been too long, Kristian. It's been too long, sir.
It really has. Is he a lesbian? Mm-hmm.
A lesbianist. Oh my God. All right. Shoot. We are at 152. Like we have literally technically talked about like one topic. Do we have room for like a lightning round or like kind of want to?
I've got time. Up to y'all.
I'm down.
I got time too.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. What do we? Because we got. Oh man, Kristian, there was actually one video you did some months ago. It's not on the docket, but you was basically talking about the title of the video was like, "Do you want to date a Christian?" I don't know if you remember it, but you was basically talking about how, and we don't have to like go into this topic, but I did want to like just be like, yeah, nigga, you cook with that video. He's just basically just saying, in the dating market nowadays, like a lot of people kind of are very like very apprehensive about like dating like hardcore Christians because like that could come with like some hate, some bigotry, some judgment, and a whole other gamut of things that kind of fall in line with people who are like very strict in that doctrine of Christianity versus actually being Christ-like. And that shit immediately made me think of like one of my homegirls who was diehard Christian, and that was always a big thing. Like I never could actually see myself like dating her for real.
Oh yeah,
because like too much into the church, and like that's also been like that's actually a red flag for me. Almost if someone's like super in the church and like super Christian-y.
Yeah, I have for years told people not to introduce me as a pastor. Like I'm not just talking about like, I'm not talking about romantic situations, but it's just in general. Socially, because when people hear pastor, there are a bunch of preconceived notions that come along with that. And I do not fit into any of those boxes they want to put me in. So I would rather allow people to get to know me. And then later on, they can find out I'm a pastor, I'm a preacher. And now they can work that out for themselves. Because like, now, wait a minute. but how? But whereas if I just start with pastor, they're not even gonna ask the questions. They're just gonna assume. And then they're gonna perform a certain way based on how they think you gotta show up with a pastor. Well, let me not cuss. Let me not get nothing to drink. Let me be careful what I talk about. Right? He gonna be sexually conservative, so let me not get into a conversation about sexuality. Let me make sure, I mention the Lord. I'm telling it so much shit people do when they know I'm a pastor. It's like, just chill. I'm just chill.
But I'm guessing they also like put you in a box. So is there like times where you just like, oh well, shoot, now they think I can't, or I shouldn't have a drink, or I shouldn't cuss, or I shouldn't do X, Y, and Z because of their notions of like how they change their behavior. So they think you should be behaving a certain type of way. And if you don't behave a certain type of way, then you crazy.
Sometimes I cuss just to break the ice.
What's good, nigga? Like that's
not for real. Not for real. Like,
welcome to church.
Sometimes I cuss just to break the ice. Cause I cuss. It's just a part of my natural like conversation. And I know that if somebody knows I'm a pastor, they're probably not gonna cuss unless they hear me cuss. And sometimes when I cuss, I can feel the tension leave the room. And then it's like, oh, okay. He's regular. We can be ourselves around him. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
I think it happened the first time I came on y'all show. Y'all was like, let's see.
I was gonna say that when you cursed, it broke the ice for me when you first came on the show.
Yeah. Because it's like, what is this pastor gonna be like? So yeah, I like my mom when she was dating. Like, so, my mom was married to my dad until he passed away in 2010. And she spent some time just kind of getting herself together. Then she got back in the dating pool. And we had this conversation because my mom's theology and worldview has expanded a lot with me over the past decade.
That's dope.
So she's much more inclusive. She's much more open-minded. Like just a lot of the judgmentalism of Christianity, she just like kind of got rid of it. So before that, she wanted a Christian man. And she got on dating sites and like she put that in her profile. But what that did was that brought all of these socially conservative, homophobic, in church every Sunday type dudes who she really wasn't aligned with. So she actually had to take the Christian part out and be like, I'm looking for somebody that's inclusive. I'm looking for somebody that is spiritually grounded, but not religious. Yeah. And then she was able to match with people that she was more aligned with, even though she still wholeheartedly believe in Jesus now. Don't get me wrong. Mama loved the Lord, but not in the judgmental kind of way of fundamentalist Christians, where if you just say I'm looking for a Christian, most people are going to assume fundamentalist.
That's the word. That's how you identify that. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, because like I know somebody who lost one of their best friends because fundamental Christian, great, good person, but those strict beliefs in certain things. Her friend, gay man, it was a gay dude. They've been friends for a long time. I even met the guy. Like, he was always cool. But then I guess he wanted to explore like more of his identity and more of their identity, more of who they really were, and like and started transitioning into trans, and that's where like she kind of that's where she kind of drew the line, and then was surprised why they weren't fucking with her no more. It was like, oh yeah, well, he don't really talk to me like that no more. I was like, well, what happened? Then she told me what happened. I wouldn't talk to your ass no more. What the fuck you mean?
Yeah. I have a friend who had a somebody in their friend group transition. So it was like a guy friend group, and there was a tomboy girl in the group who eventually came out as trans, and the majority of the group turned on her.
Right. We were like, you can be a tomboy, but once you are like, I'm a guy, low key.
Nah, we can't have that.
Yeah.
That's-
It's too much. It's too much. We
Yeah.
said nothing about the pants. You've gone too far. And it's like,
about the pants. It's crazy.
Yeah.
yeah.
I feel. Oh, okay. Do we have time for one more? Would y'all want to like talk about the OF becoming a mainstream like profession, real quick?
Yeah, fuck it.
All right. Did I already pull it up? Nope. Somebody throw a pile while I get this pulled up. All right.
So Kristian, can you check the private chat real quick?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Let me see.
Take the what and leave the what? Did I share the room tab?
Oh shit,
Yeah,
my
nice.
fault. Maybe. Sorry.
Oh, no wonder. I shared the whole damn screen. My ass thinking I'm at work.
Yeah, the recursion.
Right. All right.
Can I
y'all
add
see?
to the stage now? No,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
yet.
add it to the
Am I
stage.
good at it? Okay.
Yeah, you're good. Okay. So porn is now a mainstream profession. If you're on the internet, that should not be hard to believe. So this is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Basically, it says if
Yeah.
OnlyFans. Yep. What's up, Eddie?
Oh no, I'm just responding to the thing that you were saying. You're good.
Oh yeah. But let's see. So from this Instagram post from the Mighty Pursuit podcast, if OnlyFans were counted as a profession, it would be the fastest growing career among American women, especially ages 18 to 24. And it's not even close. By 2030, a young woman may be just as likely to try OnlyFans as pursue a career in healthcare, technology, or education. It sounds impossible, but this is exactly where the trajectory is pointing. OnlyFans does not appear in the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, but the company's own reporting reveals the scale of its growth. In 2019, the platform had around 348,000 creators. By 2025, it had 4.6 million, a 1,200% growth rate. By comparison, the fastest growing occupation in the U.S. are projected to grow just 34% over the next decade. Of those 4.6 million creators, market estimates suggest 70 to 80% are women, 30 to 40% live in the United States, and 70 to 80% produce adult content from nudity to explicit pornography. Apply those estimates to OnlyFans reported creator counts, and the result is staggering. Roughly 675,000 to 1.2 million American women may currently be creating adult content on OnlyFans. There are roughly 3 million female registered nurses in the United States and around 2.8 million female teachers. If OnlyFans continues to grow at anything close to its current pace, the number of American women creating adult content there could begin approaching those professions by 2030. But the present day comparison is already staggering. Only about 20,000 to 30,000 women work as actors in the United States. The estimated female OnlyFans population is already more than 20 to 40 times larger. This is without a doubt a humongous story. Our theory for why this is happening lives in the intersection of two major social shifts. The first is economic. For millennials and Gen Z, the cost of living has risen, while building wealth has become far harder than it was for previous generations. It was one of the central themes of Scott Galloway's 2024 book and viral TED Talk. I swear I'm about to get to the end of this in a second. Because I wanted to get to the point where it was like saying like how much money they were.
Yeah, then just skip to
okay.
if you want to.
For many young adults, college can mean Where is it at? Okay, porn was a niche industry. 10 to 20,000 many insiders. Okay, Sofa Rain reportedly earned 101 million over the last few years. Karina Koff around 67 million. Numbers that rival Hollywood's biggest stars and athletes. And basically, it basically said like the average OnlyFans model makes like around $130 a month. And you have to be an extraordinary marketer to actually get to that cream of the
Oh, so
crop level.
the average is very, very low. Like
The average is very
it's not
low.
livable. It's like a side hustle at best. Like you're not even making rent. The average
less than
OF person.
1% make any money off of it. And to their point about it being a career, most of the women that do it try it and they don't post regularly. They flame out and then they leave an account open. So it's clustered around like a very few amount of like people. It's a so one. I do think the real interesting conversation is if this were to happen, do we care? I think that's probably the most interesting conversation because it's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, this feels like it's an OnlyFans like commercial low key. Like this was like this is embedded advertising essentially.
I don't know. I feel because like the rate of online models has indeed exploded, and like even though most of them aren't making a huge bag or shit, a couple $100 a month. Yeah, like a lot of them will try, and yeah, like and I think that's like a huge thing, like because doing like porn, like in our generation growing up, was a pretty big taboo. Like that was like a pretty large step. You know what I mean? For a lot.
That's a huge lifestyle choice. Yeah.
Yeah, but now it's like so much more acceptable. Seems like, and what seems to be like an easier way to make good money with the state of the economy, with your body being in your own hands if you're going to sell it. So I don't know. I think it's tempting, to say the least, that more people will actually. It'll continue to kind of grow.
And I think a lot of people will try.
Like it's more. Yeah.
I think a lot of people will try because I know women who tried to be OnlyFans creators and they did it for like a month. They were like, it's like anything else. It's like niggas starting podcasts, right? You know what I mean? Niggas start like it's the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like the number of people who have a podcast is so much greater than the number of like male nurses. It's like, yeah, okay, does that even actually really mean anything if you're not paying your rent with it? So one, I think we can at the very least say that it's probably increased, but that this article is probably like a lot of bullshit. Because one of the things that immediately like flagged for me was when they were like, oh, there's only 20,000 to 40,000 working actors, and it's like, working actor is like the top 5% of actors. To be a working like Anthony Mackie is a working actor. Like that means you pay your bills with acting. Most actors are like, yeah, I'm a barista, I'm a carpenter or whatever, and I do some acting gigs here and there. I'm in a commercial here and there. So they already made a crazy comparison because most OnlyFans models are not working OnlyFans models. They do it a bit, but it's not covering their bills. So I was like, okay, this is already kind of like shiesty, kind of sneaky stats sort of comparisons. But to the thing that Alvin said, yeah, I'm torn of like, is this a good thing or a bad thing if they're doing it? Because even the trying thing is like, even that feels a little bit like if everyone's tried to like post their nudes and explicit video as a way of making money, is that freedom? Is that fucked up? Is that, I don't know, something about it is like, I am a little bit troubled by it, and from a few different perspectives. So I'm curious what y'all think.
I mean, sex work is one of the oldest professions out there. We're just in an era where it's being digitized. So, I'm
always make money. Yeah.
Yeah. I am personally like pro sex work, like supporting sex workers as far as like seeing them as whole individuals who offer a service, right?
And workers who deserve workers' rights. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, not everybody's gonna make money. Like I was about to say the same thing that Alvin said. Like there are a lot of people who know how to create and post, but don't know how to run a business. And if you're gonna do something sustainable on social platforms, you got to understand the business side of it, because it's not just posting stuff, and that's across the board, right? So you can't just go into it like, oh, I'm gonna just post this and not actually study the craft. Like when I got into content creation, I studied the craft. I got coaches and curriculum and conferences and cohorts to help get better at the craft. And I think because there's such ease of access into these spaces, not everybody takes seriously how important it is to become a professional in the space. And they just be like, oh, I'm just gonna get out there and post a little bit and shit gonna work out. And it's like, nah, the people that are actually making it happen, like they got a whole system, you know, that they're doing it. It's not like, you know, it's kind of like how people get into the content space and they just want to go viral. But if you go viral and you don't have a system, virality doesn't mean much of anything. Now, if you go viral for the right reason and it draws people into your space where you have all of these services and all of this programming ready for them to consume, that's different. But if you're just chasing virality, but you don't really have a brand, virality doesn't serve you all that well, especially now, because you know these platforms ain't giving out no money for real. I mean, YouTube, they paying a little bit, but you got to go crazy viral on these other platforms to get any money. So I'm indifferent. Like I don't care if you're on OnlyFans, like whatever.
Somebody made a point in the comments that I think is maybe worth addressing, which is there's a reason that sex work is the oldest profession in the world, and it's not necessarily a good one, you know? So I'm like, are people doing OnlyFans because they're free to, or because they feel they must? And so I'm just wondering, are people happy in doing that? If so, then that changes a lot of how I feel about this. But I think we can't jump straight to assuming that is the case. Like, economic decisions don't come from just individuals. It's mostly outside pressure, I would argue.
So I think it's both, and I want to say, if we wanted to test that theory, we need to create a society where everybody has what they need and then see what people choose. But we live in a society,
we don't have that,
with so many inequities that we don't really know what people would choose if they had the freedom, because everybody's struggling to survive capitalism. So we really won't know. Because
we can guess a little bit, though. Not like, I just to push back a little bit. I feel like we know when people don't enjoy their work. We know when people would prefer to be doing something else. Like, we don't have to get super theoretical, like utopian anarchist society to go like, yeah, this job that this person is doing, they really don't want to be doing it. Like, we do know and have stats on sex workers that are like, yeah, this is a survival thing. I would really prefer to not have to do this. Like, we do know that a bit.
Yeah. And then there are some people that get into sex work because they want to.
100%. They are already a doctor and they're like, I want to do this. I enjoy this. 100%.
Yeah. And then we just don't know what the,
makeup is.
Yeah, what the makeup is.
Okay.
I guess that theory is just kind of like the main thing. I strongly believe, like what Kristian just said, like if everyone had everything that they needed, I don't think a lot of these women would go to OnlyFans that fast, or like be that willing to try it out, even with the whole like body positivity, movement and all that good stuff. And like with the autonomy that OnlyFans platform represents, it's just the fact that capitalism is killing us so damn bad. And like finding a job is so damn difficult. If you don't have like your resume together, if you don't feel confident in like going out and getting a job, or hell, you try, or you just don't want to have a regular 9-to-5, and you got like this asset, literally like an asset on you. It's like, well, shit, my homegirl making some decent money. I could do it too. I might start stripping, or I could, like they making it work. They provide for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's like it might not be like as evil as like, oh, you're being coerced into doing it, but it's just like an easier alternative than the options that they have in front of them.
And folk ain't got a lot of options right now. The economy is terrible. The job market is horrible. I'm just thinking about, like, as a millennial, the life that our parents raised us for, and then when we became adults, that world didn't exist anymore.
Right.
So think about how much more difficult it is for Gen Z. Like the prospects are looking bleak.
So the one thing I will say is that if you look at what a lot of younger Gen Z people say they want to be, influencer is pretty high up on the list.
Still.
Oh, especially
Mhm.
with Freeman University and Castanet.
So yeah, so
okay.
what y'all also got to think about is that the context of what people want to do is something that they view as getting quick notoriety and a social media following. And I think OnlyFans fits very much into that makeup. And somebody said it.
Yeah.
And like I've talked to OnlyFans creators, because again, I know people who have done it at actually a decent amount of scale. And again, I have Gen Z nephews who say, like, I want to be a YouTuber, for example, right? When I ask those people, it's some version of, why am I working really hard at this corporate job when I can just show some ass and get what I think I can do from this perspective? They think it's easier, and they don't have
It's less of a sacrifice.
They view that as freedom. In the same vein, kind of seeing where those like Venn diagrams connect. It's the same thing with these kids that want to be YouTubers. They're like, you mean to tell me I can do what Castanet does, which looks like fun, which looks like hanging with my niggas and like doing this shit and playing video games and shit and listening to music and interviewing these stars, like all this kind of shit, and like make money and like get a good living and drive nice cars and like all this kind of shit. They think that's easy. They don't realize how hard either of those things are. And it's also why a lot of women who try OnlyFans quit. Like, they keep their account active for sure, but they quit. And it's because they realize that it's not easy doing that and building it up until, like, it's just like any other social media platform. You have to
takes forever,
build a brand to do that. And most people fail at it. So I do think that, like, while I do think the broader conversation of sex work 100% has I would say the majority of the sex work conversation, I wouldn't say a vast majority, I'd say I'd give it 51%, is rooted in some economic pressures, especially of old. I think we're just now getting to the point where, like, sex work, and I'm saying, 19th, 20th century kind of stuff, where like sex work could be a choice that is embedded in some level of freedom. But I would say the broader conversation of sex work is different than the OnlyFans conversation of sex work at some meaningful percentage. I'm not saying that it's all of it, but at some meaningful percentage. A lot of people are like, why am I busting my ass at a 9 to 5 when I could just sell some ass right quick and like make this, and until they realize that they don't.
Look, I think one of the things that you said definitely made it click for me, where I'm just like, yeah, all things being equal, like, especially because OnlyFans is large. You're not doing a whole bunch of fucking people that you don't want to fuck on camera the way that you are in like the legacy porn shit. It's like, yeah, people want to fuck me. They want to see my tits. They want to see my pussy or whatever. And I was already jerking off. I was already fucking my boyfriend, or the guys that are in my rotation or whatever. I can make money from people being attracted to me. That sounds like the more I say that thought pattern in my head, it doesn't sound too particularly distressing or wild to be like, oh, I can make money off of people finding me attractive. Cool.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
A big thing. Well, with that being said, we might all just want to shake a little ass and swing a little dick. I don't know. Maybe we can get a couple extra dollars. But, if you're looking at an institution that hasn't been re-examined since biblical times when women were considered property, you might be seeing a red flag. If you're not willing to sit down and have intentional conversations, then you might also be waving a red flag. And here's actually another one. If you're not willing to allow men to express themselves without being deemed as a member of the illustrious LGBTQ plus community, then it might be you that's waving a red flag also. Ladies, gentlemen, MBs, theys, thems, everybody in between, it's been your boys waving a red flag. It's Josh, it's Eddie, it's Alvin. And again, we got the magnanimous, illustrious Kristian A. Smith. Where can the good people find you?
Yo, on YouTube, it's tfc.virtual. That's the faith community virtual. You can catch us there. On all the other social media platforms, check me out at the Kristian A. Smith. That's Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Threads. We got content coming out pretty much every day. Come hang out with us. It's a time.
Absolutely. Kristian, thank you so much for joining us again. Definitely got to be sooner than like another year. Whole year can't go by.
You just say the word.
Okay, we'll get it lined up.
All
Yo,
right.
Josh, let's shout some of these hot products we're slinging real quick while we got a captive audience.
I mean, which one, baby? You know what I'm saying? You want to?
Hey, cock ring.
How freaky these people is? You know what I'm saying? How freaky the audience is.
Kristian, is your community cool with these?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Just
we're having an event next month, and our brunch is like sex related. Like we have sex related conversations at the brunch. And we having like lube and condoms on the table for people to take.
There we go. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay, well, just a FYI, if you're new here, you know what I'm saying, this is Waving the Red Flag again. Go ahead, like, comment, subscribe. Go ahead, press that good old subscribe button. We promise we're nice, also ignorant, but, you know, in a good way. But anyway, want to tell you about this product called Normal. Got a cock ring it's called Meet Flynn. I ain't gonna hold you. This is my this is my first sexual apparatus. And it's been doing what it needed to do. I ain't gonna hold you.
Jobs have been getting completed. It
got the vibrator on the top. So you know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to, you don't even, if you a brother and your girl or your partner got that vibrator and you feel like you just watch it from the sidelines, well, get in the game. The coach is here to put you in the game. Okay.
What's it look like?
I don't have it in the box right now.
Okay. Is he wearing it right now?
I'm wearing it right now.
He has the table like.
Yo, I missed something. Do you just use it on yourself or do you use it in the act with your partner?
Oh, you use it in the act with your partner, but you could use it on yourself if you wanted to. Like, you know, if you just wanted to, you know, get it in real quick, you could.
Yeah.
Let me show you what it looks like.
I've had a couple that I used with a partner.
So this is the one that they sent to Josh. It's the Flynn. So it's like dick goes in there. This entire section vibrates and obviously it's pressed against up against the partner to, you know, stimulate.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna hold you.
So we can get 20% off. What y'all
20% off. It's normal.com/magenta. 20% off on all their sex toys, their lubricants, all their packages. Okay. Another one that I would recommend. This one is the Quinn. It's it's like a clit pulser, so it uses like you know these, like it pulses air like the Rose toy to stimulate, and so it's got like a vibrate and a pulse thing, so you can combine them together, and it just right there. So yeah, 20% off.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Kristian. We got an interested party. You had my curiosity. Now you got my interest.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah. Hey, I can dig it.
I can dig it.
Very pleased with it. Also,
and they
you know, we got
good
card
lose.
games.
I'm not even
too.
gonna hold you.
Yeah. Card games, Waving the Red Flag. It's a red flag, and in all seriousness, you know, go to shop.wavingtheredflag.com if you want to spice up your dinner parties, your date nights. If you don't have anything else to talk about, these are some great, ignorant, silly, deep, well thought out questions. 2 different card games, 2 different flavors. Great conversations all around either way.
Real shit. Thank you again, Kristian, for coming through. Yeah, we got to get the pastor back in. Yeah. Well, maybe we'll just go ahead and book you in for like maybe a month and a half out from now if you're game.
What month are we in? It's July.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Like September.
What?
Yeah, nice.
We'll work it out.
Yes. All right, let me go ahead and end this stream.